Well, in this month's issue of our KTN Trading Newsletter, I'm really excited to include this interview with my friend Rupesh Patel. In addition to being the owner and operator of hotels in Daytona Beach, Florida, where he's speaking to us from today, he's also the founder of SmartGuest.com, which is a website and a blog that provides hotels with great tools to make your guests happy and hopefully get some more business revenue. So thanks for carving out some time for us today.
Thanks, Doug. Happy to be here.
Here it's Biker Week in Daytona Beach today, so I know you're especially busy.
Yeah, you can hear them in the background. There's supposed to be 150,000 people, but with the hurricanes recently, I think they're going to be expecting less. But either way, we're excited that they're in town.
Excellent. Well, we're glad again you carved out time. Let's get down to it since it's a busy time. But first question that I have for you is, what are some things you can recommend for hoteliers reading our newsletter to do to improve their online guest reviews? TripAdvisor, all the other social media sites, the OTAs, so many places there's reviews today. What can we do to improve those?
Absolutely. TripAdvisor and all the social media sites, especially Facebook and Google, are so important these days. And sometimes it's frustrating, really getting reviews. And so the biggest things I could kind of share with you is really getting your entire team on board, then asking your guests for feedback, and then soliciting a review, because I see a lot of hotels doing this incorrectly and it's hurting them.
Yeah, I think, I've written about that recently, and I got a lot of reader feedback on, you got to be careful. I've had situations where you walk in the front door and they say, "Hey, welcome to the hotel. By the way, will you give us a review?" or you have that awesome engagement. I wrote about, a breakfast attendant. It was so nice and kind. And I said, "You know what? Come over here for a second. I just want to thank you for your awesome hospitality." And the first thing he says, "Great, can you do a review?" So it kind of takes away, instead of saying, "Well, thank you kindly, sir." And then, by the way, if you have a moment, could you do the review? So there's a little tact and technique, maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. There's plenty of ways to ask for a review. Our number one way is really getting feedback at checkout. And in the past, most hotels in the past, or even now, they don't ask for the direct, real feedback. They might say, "Mr. Smith, how was your stay?" at checkout, and Mr. Smith might say, "It's great," and they leave it at that. But they don't go that extra step. And what's one thing that we can do to improve, and ask for extra feedback, and then that's when you can really qualify them to get that feedback, and to get and then to ask for a review. It's simple.
Right. So ask for the feedback first,
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
ask for the review.
Absolutely. If they've had a bad stay, you don't want to be requesting a TripAdvisor review where the rest of the world's going to read a negative survey.
That's one of the things we talk about in training is, don't just say, "How's your stay?" "Good." "That's good." I always say, try to get their butt. Now, I have to qualify that. You
Yeah.
want their butt at checkout. You want them to say, if they really know you care, "So tell me, how was your stay?" They will give you the but. They will say, "Everything was really good, but this one little idea."
Yeah.
But everything else was good. And I like that you're saying, what's the one thing we can do to improve? Because usually if they stay with you long enough, there's going to be that one thing. I call it the but.
Yeah,
You know what
absolutely.
I'm saying?
Absolutely. And you get great feedback just by asking that simple question. And then how to actually get that person or that customer to actually write it down is really important, because once they write it down on something, they're getting their feelings out and they're really telling you, and that way you can share it with the rest of the team.
I like it. Now, as a GM with your GM hat on there, what is the biggest challenge for getting to the top of your rankings in your community, in your market?
Yeah, in our market we have over 100 hotels within 5 miles, so it's a tough job to continue getting ongoing reviews, because you can't just get one review a month or one review every 3 months, because that's not going to cut it. TripAdvisor really
Right.
wants that ongoing engagement with
Oh, yeah.
your customers, and posting pictures up and really replying, and so the biggest thing is getting reviews ongoing. I mean, we have to put
Yeah.
goals into place, and that's what we do here. For the last, I would say, 4 years since we implemented this smart guest strategy, we've been number one, two, three, or four out of the 110
Wow.
hotel, or 100 plus hotels now, and it's a great strategy.
That's fantastic. I love it. Now, I first met you by reading your blogs and your LinkedIn postings, so I encourage people to look for you on LinkedIn and the smartguest.com I'll include in the newsletter here. But if you have a minute and you could share, I think it's wonderful, these different products that you come up with to, encourage guests to give feedback, and then hopefully to translate that into a guest review. So if you don't mind walking our readers through some of those things that you have at your website.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Once they get trained with the front desk and you train them, Doug, you do a great job doing that. There has to be those other elements that come into place and into play. And it's really getting your team on board, training them that it's not just the GM's responsibility or the owner's responsibility, but really getting them on board as far as why it's so important for our hotel to be getting continuous reviews. And so when you get your entire team on board and they see the value and they see the outcome of why we're doing this,
Right.
then it's not just your job. And so when I say that, there's processes and strategies that we put into place, and there's goals and there's incentives along with that whole process. So it's not just saying, hey, we want reviews, but there's a program behind
Right.
that, and we kind of train to do. I train to do that as far as putting this process into place, because it's really simple once you understand the importance of the step by step on how to do it. And then, once you have your entire team on board, it's really getting feedback. Like I said, that's the number two thing that we should be getting. And like I said, at checkout, you need to get direct feedback. During breakfast, you need to get direct
Right.
feedback. It's not just through that email after they left, because you never know when they're going to be posting that bad review, or you never know if they've posted something bad on social media, because their friends see it, and that's just a negative impact on your hotel. So
Hey, Snapchat, Instagram,
uh,
Facebook, Twitter.
absolutely. It's all of those things these days. And so we need to monitor all those things, but how to really get direct feedback. And that's what I really am passionate about, is just getting direct feedback from your guests before they leave. And
Right.
a simple tool that I created about 4 years ago now is
Yeah.
it's the We Care card. And I think I have one. Yeah. The
These
We
are the
Care.
ones that, from your website, you've got these available for our readers.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a We Care card and the Trip feedback card, and basically the Trip feedback card is just set up just like TripAdvisor, and it's really getting that feedback. And same thing with the We Care card; it's getting
Well,
direct feedback, because I go to hotels a lot, and I stay at a lot of hotels like you, Doug. And when I say there's an issue with something at checkout, they go straight to the printer and get a piece of paper out, and they say, write your name and number down, and I'll have the GM contact you.
yeah.
And I always say that is so unprofessional, because they're ripping a piece of paper out, write your cell phone number down, and I'm like, no, that piece of paper is going to get lost, and
Yeah.
it's not going to translate over to something for me to be happy with. So we got rid of our in-room 10 question surveys that most hotels have, and we said,
Yeah.
we're going to have guests come back to us and give us direct feedback before they leave. And so the We Care card has been an amazing tool for us, because it gives us direct feedback, and it also improves our Medallia scores, because now you're getting that feedback and you're fixing the problem. So here's simply how we do it. We say, Mr. Smith, how was your stay? And he says, great. We say, Mr. Smith, while I prepare your paperwork for checkout, please take 10 seconds to fill out this quick survey. And we want to know, how was your stay, by rating us, and then what's one thing that we can do to improve. And they have nothing else. So we're not asking them, can you? We're saying, fill it out. If you ask a question,
Suggestive.
they're not gonna they're gonna say, no, I don't have time for this. But if you put in their face for 10 seconds, they're waiting for you to give their bill or
Yep. Yep.
finalize their transaction. You have the perfect time, and we see success on this every single time. There might be those few people that say, I don't have time for this, I just want to check out and
Right.
get out of here. But if
Yeah.
if you show them that you really care, and hey, on the back it says We Care, on both of them it says We Care, and it shows that you actually care about their stay and their feedback. They give you feedback, and this looks so professional than just a regular piece of paper. And it's been a really great tool for us, and it's improved our scores through the brand, and then just online. So definitely collect feedback no matter how you do it, but these tools have been really helpful. And then that, I call it the qualification. If you're happy with your stay, you thank them. Thank you so much, Mr. Smith, for staying with us. We appreciate it. And by the way, here's my personal business card, and this is actually my housekeeper's business card. All my employees at my hotels have their own business card,
Okay.
because I've noticed that. Doug, remember when you got your first business card, how you
Oh
felt?
yeah.
That's it. And I
I
felt the
still
same.
have it.
Really? Me too. And it's so important that our employees, especially housekeepers and
Yeah.
maintenance
Yeah.
guys and front desk, they've never had their business card. So
Yeah.
how does it make them feel? You know.
I gotta stop you there because it's funny. I was a conference speaker for this boutique brand, and they had a speaker come in that had written about, how do you deal with these millennials. One of the things that they said was the most important thing to a millennial is they're getting a business card. And what do they do with their business card? They show it to mom and dad
And friends.
Look, a business card.
Yeah.
And they're so proud of it. So even your entry level professionals, but you're taking this to a whole other level to give it all the frontline people.
Everybody, I mean, our breakfast attendants, our anybody in restaurant, everybody has one because they have now a tool to ask for reviews and really give and be accountable for their service, right? And that's what we've done here, and that's why we're ranked so high because everybody's accountable for now offering amazing service and then asking for reviews. So just this one right here, it says executive housekeeper, and on the back, so it will say, Mr. Smith, thank you so much. Please call me directly for your next reservation. I'll personally take care of your next stay. And they say, sure, I will. Mr. Smith, before you leave, I would ask you, can you do me a huge favor? And there's multiple ways of saying this. They could be the employee of the month. Mr. Smith, we're running for the employee of the month, and I only have 2 more votes to get to that top ranking. And by the way, mention my name on a positive review. And on the back of the card, we have TripAdvisor, we have Yelp and Google. And now we actually, this is like maybe that's 6 months old, but now we have other websites because we see where our traffic is coming from, and that's where we want good reviews, right? And so, these are on our website, and it's been an amazing tool.
I gotta talk about a few things there. I love that you first ask for their feedback. You don't just say, "Hey, will you do a review?" And
Yes.
if there's an issue, you challenge it. Then you thank them. Then you politely ask for the review. Now, the other thing there, you get into another one of my favorite topics, which is channel conversion. Because we have that guest that found us through an OTA, and we spent a lot of money in commissions to do that. And as you know, I'm sure your hotel's focusing on getting that direct booking. But now you say, "Hey, by the way, call me directly next time, and I'll set you up directly." So you have really a much bigger picture than reviews here.
Yeah, it's really building guest engagement. It's making your employees and your staff feel really good about themselves. It's directing reviews on different channels that you want them on, and then getting that customer to come directly back to you and book with you. So it's a powerful tool, and it works every single day, and our customers are happy. And by the way, it reminds guests of who they actually spoke with, because if you go look at these reviews, go look at your competition's reviews. That's what I tell hotels.
Yep.
Are there names being mentioned, or is it just the housekeeper was nice or the front desk person was nice? But if you can actually connect a name to that to that hotel, that employee feels really good about themselves because now they're kind of famous online. But it also helps the whole channel because now you know who to go to when you're going to stay at that hotel. Hey, I want Amanda to take care of us because I've read about her. So when we hear that all the time.
The people, because one of the things I talk about a lot is at the end of the day, I'm sure your rooms are very nice, but there's 100 hotels in your market. There's a lot of nice hotel rooms.
Absolutely.
And, there's a lot of nice breakfast spreads. I'm sure you have a good breakfast, but it's the people is a hard thing to copy. And if you can give that great, humanistic, authentic, genuine connections, they're going to come back for Jane at the breakfast bar or whoever it was that serviced their room, or that you expect the hospitality at the front desk. But when you get that from the housekeeper, and you're walking down there and saying, "Where's the ice machine?" and he or she says, "You know what? Let me bring you some ice."
Absolutely.
Or they see you struggling with, your groceries for a vacation stay, like when you have a lot of family and you got the bags of the snacks for the kids, and someone that's not expected, a maintenance person comes up and helps you. So I love that you've really taken this outside of the front desk.
Yeah, and just a quick tool and how you can get, or not a tool, but a quick tip is once you get these cards, I mean, when your maintenance guy has them and your team has them, and for us, we have stairs. We're an exterior property, and we're still highly ranked. We're an exterior corridor, and we just go above and beyond. So it's that beginning, it's the training, it's getting your team on board, and then showing hospitality. So even your maintenance department, if you see somebody walking up with heavy bags, give them a hand and then say, "Hey, here's my personal business card for your rest of your stay. If you need anything, let me help you," right? And so it just really connects that guest to our team.
Now, before I let you go, if you have a couple more minutes to talk about some of the other tools that you have, I don't know what else you have for reviews, but I love your ideas that you sell with these ways to welcome repeat guests, to recognize them. So if you could talk about like your candy wrapper and your water bottle.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have plenty of digital products that we offer to a lot of our hotels, and there's a lot of big brands using our products, and then there's also the small independent hotels, and it's really connecting the customer and personalizing their stay. Personalization is a huge part of the industry now, and connecting, learning about what they love and what their favorite drink was, and all those things that now are connected with apps and our PMS system, right? When they check in, you already know that they love a Coke and they love chips and all these things. But how do you really personalize it? So
Yeah, what do you do with that? Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and so I when that Coca-Cola, remember when Coca-Cola came out with their names, everyone's names on the Coke can?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I loved that idea because it was socially driven. I said, how can we bring that to our industry, and how can we bring it to anybody in hospitality? Because it makes people feel good when their name's on something. It's always about what's in it for me, right? And so I created a couple tools, and the first one was, hey, we're already giving out gifts or a thank you at check-in for our rewards members, or our brand loyalty customers, or just even loyal guests, and it's a simple tool, and this is the first one. It's the custom candy bar wrapper, and it's basically it's a PDF file that we send you. We customize it with your brand's logo, location, and then a special message. And it's awesome because you open up the file, you print the name, you print it on a regular piece of paper, and you wrap it around just a regular Hershey bar, and you present this at check-in. So, Mr. Samples, thank you so much for staying with us. We appreciate you being a rewards member, a diamond member, and now that is socially driven. So now they're taking pictures and they're saying,
I was just getting ready
right,
to say,
yeah, yeah,
selfie time.
exactly. And the same thing, we're giving out water bottles, we're giving out these tools, but
Yeah.
it's
I get that a lot. I get a water bottle all the time. I never have my name on it.
no. So it's helping you out, and it's you might be thirsty, but it was great that they offered you a free bottle of water. But how can you go that next step, and how can you make it? How can you turn a result out of it? And so social media is a huge part right now, and so it's the same thing. I mean, how do you add your name? And it's the same thing. We send you a custom PDF file, and here's a PDF file. This is what it looks like. It's just a file with it's customized for your hotel, and it's been an amazing service tool that wows people that check in. They've never had this service. Think about walking into my property. I have a Quality Inn, getting this kind of service. And I always tell people, I said, we're not the Ritz-Carlton, but we'll treat you like you're at one, and it means a lot because our customers talk about us on reviews, and they talk about us on Medallia and social media. So it's very important.
And that's really a key point because I train. Usually, the hotels that hire me to do training are the ones that don't really need me to do training. They're already at the top of their list. So a lot of my clients are number one, top five, and I find a lot of times there's a newer hotel with more stores or diamonds behind the desk that's lower ranked, because it really is the people, the engagement. And I love these ideas. They're, and I think it's great. All of our readers should check this out because, very reasonably priced, and you don't have to sit there and try to make these and reinvent the wheel. You've got them. You're using them. They're working.
Yeah, absolutely. And to your subscribers, I would love to share this. We have a generic template. It's a candy wrapper. It doesn't have your logo, but it says thank you, and you can type in the guest name. So just go to smartguests.com, and there's a button there that you can get this free template. We'll send it to you. We're happy to send it to you.
Well, that's great. Thank you so much for taking time during Biker Week, nonetheless.
Absolutely. Thank you, Doug. It was my pleasure.
So appreciate you carving out time. We'll look forward to seeing you again very soon. Have a great day, Bertha.
Absolutely. Thank you. Bye-bye.